Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about the new iCarly, which aired on yet another streaming service, Paramount Plus. It had 13 episodes, aired weekly, which I kind of prefer because, you don't blow through it that fast. I know I'm kind of in a minority here. I don't really like the Netflix model, where they just release the whole season at once and then you're behind everybody else because you don't have time to watch TV because you work 8 days in a row. But anyway, here are my thoughts on the new iCarly. I think it was a bit disappointing, but compared to a lot of the other TV revivals that Hollywood has pooped out in the last 5 years, I feel like this could have been worse. So it had a lot of redeeming qualities to it. So let's start out with the characters. Carly was charming and really funny as usual, probably because of the performance of Miranda Cosgrove, but I feel like she wasn't really acting like a 27-year-old. Like she still acts like she's 16 or something. It's like she hasn't really matured much since the end of the original series. And I wasn't a big fan of the plot of whole like trying to find a boyfriend. Because none of her boyfriends were interesting. They were bland. They have no personalities. Basically, cardboard cutouts whose only function in the series is to be Carly's boyfriend. That's why I don't care about the love triangle in the finale, since I didn't care about either of those bland boyfriends. And the whole love triangle thing was made even worse because it wasn't even resolved in the end. So I feel like it's just been dragging on too long. If you're gonna wrap up the love triangle, that'll be one thing, but to keep it kind of open ended makes it pointless. Um, Moving on to Spencer, he was awesome, no complaints. He should be the main character of the series. I feel like the show would be a lot more interesting. But I feel like his relationship with Harper's cousin was a bit forced and led nowhere since they broke up 2 episodes later. So, what was the point of that? I don't really know. The Titanic thing kind of got a bit old. It wasn't really that funny. Now, on to the biggest disappointment out of the returning characters is Freddy. Why is he such a loser? Like, he's such a fucking loser in this. To be fair, he was never the coolest guy in the original series, but at least in that he utilized his tech skills, and he seemed like a pretty smart guy, if not a bit awkward. But in this, he, if it wasn't for his sweet relationship with Millicent, he's a laughing stock with no redeeming qualities. I hate his like multiple different pyramid schemes he gets into. I hate how like he regresses back into a teenager, similar to Carly, but much worse. It just feels like I don't know. It just feels like he's the butt of every joke. He's incompetent. He still lives with his mom, which it's nice to see Mrs. Benson again. But I don't know. I just pictured Freddy a little bit farther along in his life, like maybe being an IT guy or something. But he's just a loser, which kind of makes me sad. On to the new characters. I hated Harper. Obviously I'm not comparing her to Sam. That has nothing to do with it. I was excited to meet new characters. But Harper was just so obnoxious. She screamed too much, and she said every sentence in the sing-songy voice. And pretty much her character felt like a really negative stereotype. She was kind of a token character. And honestly, her character was kind of racist. I don't think this has anything to do with the actress. She played her fine, but it's just like the way she was written sounds like a character probably from the 70s. Like I don't know. I've not met one single person who talks like that. I just felt like the handling of her character was not done well, and her single girlfriend was annoying as fuck. She was even worse than Harper, and I want her to get hit by a bus. Moving on to Millicent, I started off not liking her because she was way too rude and annoying, and she just acted like a typical bratty child character. But I feel like she got a lot of character development, and she softened up a bit. What makes me like her is how much she encourages Freddy, and how much she respects him. I like the relationship a lot. It's probably one of the high points of the series. Um, so yeah, Millicent kind of started out downhill, but then moved up to be one of the most likable characters in the series. So good for her. Now I feel like the major problem about this show is it attempted to be an adult show while still maintaining the tone of the original iCarly. And I think this is impossible to do. I mean, I'm sure it's not impossible to do, but I feel like this show failed at it. The jokes, the way they were delivered, felt too juvenile, which would have been fine if the show was still aimed at kids. But the adult humor offsets it, so the tone is uneven. It feels like the show is trying too hard to be quote unquote edgy, but the edgy jokes rarely made me laugh. They didn't really work. The only times they did was when Spencer accidentally set up Freddy with a prostitute, which is kind of funny, or when Freddy and Carly almost get into a three-way. That was just a very funny episode. But all in all, I think the major problem with the show is that it feels like a show from 15 years ago. This is because the series is too episodic. You know, modern comedies like Parks and Rec or Community have ongoing plots to keep the audiences engaged. But there's not enough ongoing plots to keep the audience interesting. Besides a few minor, uninterested romantic subplots that pretty much go nowhere. I feel like most episodes can be swapped with no consequences. You know, you could watch these in any order, which isn't really how TV works nowadays, and I don't know. To quote the rules to Marvel so yet, do better. But overall, you know, the series was fine. You know, it was pretty funny and made me laugh multiple occasions, mostly due to Spencer. Um, but I feel like it hasn't reached its full potential. Maybe that could improve with season two. You know, I'm probably gonna cancel Paramount Plus and then get it back whenever it comes back. Maybe a couple years. I don't know. But all in all, I'm gonna give this series a C. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time.